What's up, Ozark? It is Chris Pinson, your Ozarks First sports reporter. And I got to talk to you about what went down last night at Hammons Field because yours truly has some hardware here he gets to show off. Now, if you watched the recent episode made by Dan Lucy, of course, he put together a great story about how yours truly did, in fact, win the Springfield Cardinals 2025 hot dog eating contest. But I figured I'd do a follow-up and talk to you about what it was like to do that, since this was my first ever eating competition. So a few thoughts on this. If you're ever going to do it, just realize if you're going to go hard and you're going all in to win, you are going to be uncomfortably full very quickly. And you're going to ask yourself internally, do I really want to keep doing this? Because I'm getting to the point where I might be on the verge of losing my lunch, or dinner in this case. But overall, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to be alongside the other competitors and all of us going at it in this hot dog eating competition. Now, the odd part was, right, having all these people stand there or sit there in the stands and watch you eat this food, right? You know, it's one thing to be at a restaurant because no one else is really looking at you the entire time while you enjoy a meal. But in this case, when you're trying to shovel hot dogs and bread in your mouth as fast as you can, and everybody in Springfield basically was staring at you while you're doing this, it is certainly a little weird feeling having all those eyeballs on you. Secondly, one of the hardest parts about doing this was that when we all got our hot dogs, each of us, the four of us got 10 hot dogs each. After a while of sitting there waiting for a few announcements and time to go by for us to get this thing started, the hot dogs went from being steamed and ready and delicious looking to a little dried out because we had probably sat around for at least 10 minutes in the open air elements, right? So the bread kind of got a little harder and tougher. The hot dogs got colder and also a little bit tougher. So it wasn't like we were just eating, these fresh things that were going to be delicious. On one hand, it was great because you weren't worried about burning your mouth while you're trying to shovel this in your face. But at the same time, if you've ever eaten something that's sit out for a while, it's not the most enjoyable, delectable thing, right? Okay, so that right there made eating those hot dogs a little bit tougher. When I ate the first one, it really took me a while to get through it. And then I realized how important it is to drink some water. So, right, whether you see the guys dunking the hot dogs in the cups or you just take sips of water, it really does help to soften up the bread and the meat and help you swallow it. So once I got through that first dog, I started kind of getting my little process and getting everything down to a rhythm. And sure enough, that helped me really power through the second, through the third dog, and the fourth dog. But once I got close to about 5 and the timer was ticking down, I don't know if it was because I was starting to get full or maybe the nerves were kicking in, but I really started to feel like I was kind of reaching the limit of my stomach, sitting right here. So by the time I finished the 5th one, I think they said there was like 30 seconds left. And at that point, I was in my head a lot and I was thinking, do I really want to give another bite? Can I even chew anymore? Because, you think about it, your jaw at that point is getting pretty tired because you're just sitting there chewing and swallowing and chewing. And it's actually pretty exhausting. I mean, even the record holder himself, the legend, Joey Chestnut, has said, you got to train your jaw so you don't cramp up in the middle of the competition. And I was starting to feel those effects. So when we got down to 30 seconds and I had 5 hot dogs in me, I knew I probably couldn't get through 6, but I might be able to take enough bites that it might push me across the finish line in first place. And sure enough, it came down to myself and Missouri State starting pitcher Michael Yusipchuk. We both had hit 5, but 5, he tapped out. He was like, nah, no more, I'm good. And I saw that, and so I thought, okay, let me just take a couple more bites and see if I get partial credit. And sure enough, getting 5.5 hot dogs finished beat his 5 on the money. So that is what enabled me to get this trophy, this bad boy right here, in my hands, and I'm now the proud owner of the Springfield Cardinals Hot Dog Eating Contest Championship Trophy. So thank you to the Springfield Cardinals for putting this on. It really was a lot of fun, and it really was a fun experience. To have some trash talk with some of the competitors, the 417 foodie guy and Cash, the former Cardinals announcer, and Michael Yusipchuk. It was fun just to sit there, be a part of this theater, and help to entertain all the fans that were there. And believe me, when I told all my friends and family I won, they couldn't believe it. And they really did enjoy Dan Lucy's recount of last night's events. So that was also fun. So if you ever get into a food eating competition, 3 things you got to know. Let's round them out real quick once again. Number 1, realize the food you're going to eat, hot or cold, is going to sit out in the elements. Therefore, that's going to change its complexion and texture. Could be good or be bad. Number 2, you're going to need some water. Water is the key to softening up that meat and that bread for the hot dogs at least, or hamburgers or what else you do. And most importantly, number 3, know your limit. Make sure you kind of listen to your body because you'll power through the first couple. But if you don't do this on the regular, when you do start getting into the thick of it, believe me, you're going to get a lot fuller, a lot faster than you might think. So try to pace yourself because otherwise, A, you don't want to choke, and B, you definitely don't want to throw it all back up there while you're being watched. I'd say overall, though, the worst part of the event was then having to shoot the game for the Springfield Cardinals and Arkansas Naturals because I was uncomfortably full, but I had to do my job and shoot that game so I could come back here and put the highlights together for my boss. But outside of that, it was a fun time. I'm glad I won. But overall, it's just a great time and a great event to be a part of and a great way to kind of celebrate the preamble into the 4th of July. So if you get a chance to do it, I'd highly recommend it. Just bring your appetite. You're going to need it.